the Netflix Avatar is not good. It's not bad, but it's not good. I was really hoping, I had such high hopes. I was hoping in this world that we live in of horrible remakes and awful sequels that, I thought maybe once we could do it right. I thought, one time making a good remake, maybe that's not too much to ask. I had my hopes up. I was so excited for it from the moment I saw the trailer. And then I turned it on and I was like, oh. So I said I would do a video on it, and here I am. This is me doing a video on Avatar the Last Airbender, the Netflix version, serving my time. That's what I'm doing, okay? Because I forced myself to watch every last episode of this show, which is why it's taken me a second to get this video out, which I guess was a good thing because it gets a little bit better towards the end, especially in episode 6 when we get to see some of Zuko's backstory and stuff. But it has done so many things wrong. And as I talk about these things, I want to make it very clear that if I'm talking shit on anything that happened in the original animated series, I take it back. The original animated series is gospel. We don't touch that here. So if I am shitting on something and you're like, wait, that literally happened in the animated series, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'll make my first ever apology video. I will. I'll do it. Don't test me. So I guess the best place to start with this remake is the characters. And they really did not do the characters well. Katara in the animated series is very, fiery, very determined, all of that stuff. She's an Enneagram 1 for anyone who cares about the Enneagram. And in this version of the story, we get an Enneagram 9 Katara, who really is just she has the saddest eyebrows I've ever seen on any human. She can't stop with the eyebrows. Sad eyebrows, every scene, no matter what. And then she likes to be like, but we need to help him. Exactly like that, every few minutes. And I just... This remake had me questioning the characters and their relationships to each other so much that I was kind of like, why, Katara? Why do you care about helping him so much? Because there just wasn't much of a connection between all of them. My brother's main complaint going into this was that they were going to make Sokka not sexist. Which they did indeed. There's not a hint of sexism in Sokka. There is a lot of sexism in the Northern Waterbending tribe. And Katara gets this whole congregation, this force, this army of women together to be like, we are strong. You should let us fight. Again, if that's in the animated series, I apologize profusely. If it's not, what a bold move that I'm not sure any woman watching this show appreciated. Anyway, so Sokka is not sexist. And then another complaint that my brother had was that they were gonna make Aang more serious and not just a 12-year-old boy who wanted to play, which also did indeed happen. He likes to say every episode at least, multiple times an episode, this little 12-year-old will be like, this is my responsibility. These people are my responsibility. I have to help them. I'm sure Aang says stuff like that in the original series, but it was just not this heavy-handed. In fact, the ATLA remake has 3 things that they want you to know, and they will not stop saying them. They will drill them into your head until you die. The first thing is that these people need help, and it's Aang's responsibility to help them. The second thing is the past doesn't fucking matter, bitch. Think about the future or else. And the third one is that you can't have friends if you're a powerful person. You can't care about people. They'll just drag you down. And every single avatar that Aang meets says that. And I think that happens in the animated series too, but he meets them in such a rapid succession in this remake that it's episode 3, we get, you can't have friends, you can't have family, you can't love people. Episode 2, we get it. Episode 4, we get it. It's be alone. And it's funny because the last avatar that Aang meets, Karuk, is talking about some other shit. Aang was like, help me, you can control the avatar state. And he was like, no, I fought a war on the spirit world and they damaged my soul and body, so I can't control the avatar state any more than you can. And then he just launches into, my wife was killed during that war. You can't care about people, Aang. And I was like, bro needs to find a better way to segue into his points or he's never gonna be, I guess he's dead, but maybe that's why, because people hated him for just randomly bringing up shit when there was no progression from one subject to the other. I was literally like, As I said earlier, I'm kind of glad that I watched the entire thing because it does get a lot better towards the end, especially with Zuko's backstory. I feel like they did that really, really, really well. Like, it actually made me emotional when he got back to the boat and the soldiers were bowing to him and stuff, and Iroh was emotional. Here's some things that the remake did better than the 2010 movie, which are not changing names. So everyone's name is everyone's name. Iroh actually felt like Iroh. I was a little unsure of him towards the beginning, but he kind of grew on me, especially like he's such a foodie and I love it. He's just like constantly like talking about tea or food, and I was like, okay, I feel safer with this man now that I know that, like, it's like the Goosebumps episode where you don't know which one is the daughter or whatever, or I guess there's also a Goosebumps about which dad is the plant. I don't know. It's like that where I was like, okay, this is the real Iroh. Like, I can trust him now. This show also did extremely well with the set design, costume designs, the music choices, the colors. It definitely is like a more enjoyable watch aesthetically than the 2010 version, but not emotionally, because the 2010 version, I was like, okay, well, this is funny at least. Like, I can make jokes about this. My friends and I can sit down and laugh at this. The new ATLA was not like that until episode 8. Or 7? 8. Where Aang turns into a giant water monster. A water Godzilla, if you will. And I was like, what is going on? Where is Princess Yue just collapsing? Where is it? Where is her just being like, oh, I have to sacrifice myself? It happens eventually, but not in the way that it does in the animated series, which kind of takes some meaning out of it, I think. And it just was so absurd. It was the height of absurdity to watch Aang stomp around in this giant water Godzilla. And they're like, he's gone. He's just Godzilla now. And I was like, but he's in there. Like, I can see him in that tiny little orb in the center of this water giant. I think he's in there. I think if we got him out somehow, he'd be okay. But they were like, he's gone now. It was just a lot. But yeah, so Iroh and Zuko, they did really well with the characters, and the acting was impeccable with those two. Like, every time Zuko was on screen, I was like, oh good, I get to actually feel things now and like be excited. The rest of the show, because there's 8 episodes. I went into this thinking it would be a movie, but instead it's 8 episodes, which made it so boring. Like, every time Zuko was on screen, I was like, okay, now I get to watch. Whereas before I was like slogging through, like taking breaks, watching Ozark in between as a palate cleanser, because I was like, I'm losing it. It just isn't what the original Avatar was, which is like really sad. And there are some very, very cool moments, but also just some random characters added for no reason, like the dad and his kid in a wheelchair in Omashu. I was like, why are you here? What's your purpose? Also, could have been really fun if the dad designed the kid's wheelchair, but that didn't happen. He's a designer dude. He makes things, and instead of being like, oh, my dad made me this really cool wheelchair, we instead get to see the dad pair with the Fire Nation as a villain, only for him to be, given such a positive arc later that it makes me barf. Anyways, also Princess Yue is a fox in the spirit world in this version. I don't remember that. It was kind of sad for me to see Princess Yue because she's played by the girl from Prey, who she does such a fantastic job in Prey. I want to see her in more of that. Like, it just felt kind of strange to see her as Yue, and it did not do justice to her acting skills, because I know that she can act better than that. I think she was just given a really shit hand, which, as I was watching this, I was kind of amazed by actors' abilities to just fucking go through with it, to just bite the bullet and make the film, even though they probably all know that it wasn't good, unless they don't and they're advocating for it, in which case, Stockholm Syndrome. That's all I have to say about that one. Oh man. What else is there to say about this adaptation, really? Oh, Sokka and, what's her fucking name? Suki? I don't know. This girl, their romance was so well done. Like, I actually loved it. I actually was on the edge of my seat watching them interact. And that was tough because then we get to Princess Yue, and I was just like, oh, and they kiss out of nowhere? They talk like twice and then she's kissing him. Like, there's so much buildup and tension with Sokka and this lady. And with Yue, it's like one conversation about how she's not just a princess and she also likes to run away and bake desserts. And it's like the most boring conversation. And then all of a sudden they're kissing. So maybe the creators of the show were like, we're running out of time. We gotta speed this up. You guys can't talk again. And that was kind of akin to the 2010 version. So that's awesome. I loved that. In the end, like, I did not have fun watching this. Like, it just was My dad came downstairs yesterday to bring me food, and I was in the middle of getting emotional over Zuko's backstory in episode 6, I think. And he was like, I watched the first episode and I was just kind of bored. And I was like, yeah, it'll do that to you. Like, that's kind of all I really gleaned from it, is that the theme is overstated, the acting is not great, the characters are off, it's pretty to look at, the music's nice, I guess. But I was bored, and I was bored in a way that wasn't easy to make fun of, like the 2010 version. Like, I'm sorry that this video is not funnier, but look at the material I've been given, okay? It was pretty fun that this lady's version of flirting with Sokka was to, put him in a headlock, a really aggressive headlock too. I feel like they did her character so well. Her and Zuko, damn, if only we could get that same writing for literally everyone else. So, my review of this show is that I just wanted to watch the original show the entire time. I'd give the original show 10 out of 10. It's incredible. I love it. I don't want them to make more seasons of this show because, again, like the 2020, why do I keep saying 2020? The 2010 movie, this one ends right after the whole Northern Water Tribe battle and debacle. And so, I'm just gonna dissociate now apparently because this show was so boring. Anyways, I don't want them to make more seasons. I just want to watch the original for the rest of my life. In fact, if we could burn these remakes in a hole and let them be forgotten and not let them be the first thing that aliens find when they come to learn about our civilization in the future, that would be fantastic. Like, if we could just blockbuster them, if we could Toys R Us them, I would appreciate that. And if we could stop putting shit in the water that makes people want to make these, that would be great. The end. It gets a 4 out of 10. 5 out of 10 for Zuko and that lady whose name I think I got right. Oh my god, also, the second avatar that Aang meets, the fire avatar, is very funny. So 5 out of 10 because of those 3 people. I really, really enjoyed him. But that's it. 5 out of 10. And if you have hours of your life to waste, I guess you could try out watching it. Thanks for being here. I'll see you on the flippity flip.